To understand how cars work, you need to understand the terms that are used in the automotive field. So, in this topic, we will discuss the basic terminology that are used in the automotive field, starting with horsepower. What does horsepower actually means? Horsepower measures fast how fast the force is produced from the engine. Let's give an example. Car number A has like 200 horsepower, and car number B has around 300 horsepower. Which one will deliver the force from the engine faster than the other? Of course, assuming that car A and car B are the same in terms of everything, but the differences is this one has 200 and this one has 300 horsepower. This will obviously go to the car number B, since it has 100 horsepower more than car A. Horsepower, in general, can be ranged from 50 horsepower for like the smallest cars available on the market to like 2000 horsepower for the fastest and highest performance car available on the market. But on average, horsepower on average is around 180 horsepower for like a small city car. Horsepower has an emblem of called HP, so it's here. It's like 200 HP and 300 HP. HP means like horsepower, and it equals to 745.7 watts. The next term we will talk about is torque. Torque is a measurement of how much force the engine has to move the car. Torque is measured in Newton meters or in some countries in pound feet. Torque is an underrated term, since most people just focus on how much horsepower does this car has, and they don't mention torque. They just don't mention it. If a car has like 400 horsepower, they'll be like, wow, that's great. But what if the torque is not enough? What if the torque is bad? Then it just doesn't mean anything. Torque is just as important as horsepower. The range of torque in general is around 135 Newton meters for like a small city car, up to 500 Newton meters for big powerful cars. But for a high performance car, it can reach to like 700 Newton meters or even more, like 1000 Newton meters. When someone says that a car has 4 cylinders or 6 cylinders, or even nowadays 3 cylinders, well, what does cylinders actually means? Cylinders are like chambers where both air and fuel are forced to be sucked inside. If we take a look here, this is the top view of the simplest form of an engine. If we count the cylinders here 1, 2, 3, 4, this means that this engine has 4 cylinders. Air and fuel are mixed and sprayed inside these cylinders, where compression and explosion will happen for the air and fuel in order to produce an energy that will make the engine able to move the car. Next, let's talk about the engine size. When someone says that a car has 1.2 liters, or 3 liters, or even 7 liters, what does that mean? It means that inside engine cylinders, it has the capacity to burn air and fuel for about 1.2 liters, or 3 liters, or 7 liters. For example, an engine with 4 cylinders, and this is air and fuel mixture being burned and compressed inside. And for every cylinder, it has the capacity of 1 liter. This one 1 liter, this one 1 liter as well, this one 1 liter, and this one as well. This means that this engine, this whole engine, has the capacity of 1 liter, which is the size of a single cylinder, multiplied with the number of cylinders, which is 4, equals to 4 liters. This means that this engine is a 4 liter, 4 cylinder engine. The engine size can be measured in liters, or for small engines can be measured in cc, for the engines that are below 1 liter. If an engine has like 0.6 liter, it is considered as 600 cc. If an engine has 1.2 liter, it is considered a 1200 cc engine, and so on. Next, let's talk about gearbox speeds. When someone says that a car has 6-speed transmission or 7-speed transmission, what does that mean? Now, a transmission that we will talk about in this course later, I'm just gonna discuss it in brief, is a set of gears, which is there is here. It's a set of gears that are used to help the engine to provide the needed torque that can goes to the wheels. So when someone says that a transmission has 6 speeds or 6 gears, this means that the transmission can shift up to 6 times or 7 times depending on the number of gears it has. Next, RPM. It stands for revolution per minute. It is a measure of the engine's speed. Now, if you notice on the gauge cluster of a car, most of the time it will have 2 primary gauges. It's like this. One is the measurement of the engine's speed in RPM, and the other is the measurement of the car's speed in kilometers per hour or in miles per hour. Most of the time, the RPM will be around 2000 RPM if the car is efficient and if it has no issues. It will be around 2000 RPM on a straight road. For example, if an engine has 300 horsepower at, let's say, 2000 RPM, what does that mean? It means that at 2000 RPM, the horsepower of the car will be 300. The lower the RPM, the better, because this means that the engine doesn't have to work as hard as much to produce the horsepower. Assuming another engine that produces the same amount of horsepower but at 4000 RPM, which one is better? The 2000 RPM one or the 4000 RPM one? Now this will obviously goes to the 2000 RPM because the engine doesn't have to be as quick or as fast as the 4000 RPM to produce the 300 horsepower, and it doesn't have to work as hard as the 4000 RPM to produce this much of horsepower. Finally, we will talk about the chassis. A chassis is the construction that the car is built on. It holds everything on the car: the engine, the transmission, the passenger load, and other mechanical and electronic components of the car. It is very important that the chassis doesn't have any damage, because if it has a damage, then the car will not be as good as before. It will not perform as good as before, even if it fixed. And this will dramatically lowers the value of the car if the chassis has been damaged. Especially that means that the car had a terrible accident